So one thing I think is a really fascinating topic when it comes to AI is how this AI is fundamentally going to change for those who are involved in analytical professions or problem solving. And there are some models that are emerging that would tend to explain a possible working relationship between, let's say, consultants and AI, and how that relationship can develop over time, and what is the structure in place that needs to be established for that relationship between the humans and the AI systems, AI tools, to be successful. So one approach to this is what is termed the augmented strategist, and this is a methodology for problem solving that merges human intuition with artificial intelligence. So this approach would aim to transform strategic thinking by creating a fusion between human expertise and AI's computational capabilities. And so therefore it sets the stage for business transformation where strategy is enhanced by AI, and AI capabilities would represent a significant evolution in how strategic challenges or problem solving is approached and how solutioning can be developed, emphasizing the collaborative power between humans and machine intelligence to drive future success and, in many cases, potentially redefine strategic innovation. So with that in mind, there is a paradigm shift underway from traditional to AI augmented strategic analysis, and we see all the major consulting companies have announced shifts in their staffing and their approach to staffing. And so there are a few approaches that are being tested or considered, and we haven't yet seen what is necessarily going to be the long-term leader. But it's enough to say that there are different approaches to this. So the traditional model is would be depicted as resource-intensive analysis, relying on large teams for data processing and, let's say, a linear or, in many cases, sometimes inflexible workflow. In contrast, the AI augmented model would need to feature a lean strike team of experts or those individuals who are skilled in AI orchestration. So the focus would then shift from manual data processing to higher level conceptual synthesis and sophisticated prompt engineering using techniques like chain of thought. This new paradigm would emphasize a collaborative human and AI relationship, potentially enabling more agile, efficient, and insightful strategic work to come out of this relationship. So how would that look like, or how would that work? So underpinning this transition is a core philosophy or a framework, shifting the strategist role from a doer to a director. A doer traditionally gathers data and creates models and following sets frameworks, and the director, however, would architect AI workflows and build cognitive pipelines using advanced techniques and validate AI output against reality. And this approach then would be based on three key pillars. First of all, decomposition, which breaks complex problems into modular or AI manageable tasks, in many ways similar to what strategists or consultants already do. Then is the iterative prompting, using chain of thought and tree of thought approaches for refined logic in the prompting approaches. And then the third pillar on this would be synthesis and validation, where human experts verify AI generated insights and ensure that the outcomes are practical and value added. So if we break this down in a little more detail, so phase one details how to handle strategic problems which are ambiguous and interconnected. Instead of, for example, a single query, this methodology would use a prompt map, a sequence of modular prompts that guides the AI through a rigorous and logical path. So this map would have three layers to ensure tailored or non-generic analysis. The logic layer specifies the frameworks. So for example, you could apply Porter's five forces or any of the traditional consulting frameworks to the situation. Then there's a variable layer that inputs proprietary data and market constraints, and then the context layer, which defines an AI persona. So in other words, act as a senior partner, act as the CEO, or act as the chief financial officer, which then gives a perspective to the problem that it needs to be solved. The next step, or this phase two part of the process, is the research cycle. So in this case, highlighting a massive efficiency gain where a small team of 3 AI skilled consultants could outperform a typical team of, let's say, a consulting team of, say, 12 or more professionals. This would be possible because AI can bring in and process vast amounts of information in a matter of minutes. So the cycle would involve, in this case, 4 steps for quality control. Number one, AI generates an initial draft assessment. Number two is second, AI critiques the draft to find flaws and biases. Third step would be a human team refines the output, merging insights and bringing other observations. And finally, the human experts would perform the final validation. So this iterative and collaborative process then helps consultants explore multiple possibilities and consider multiple perspectives with just a very small team in place. The third phase focuses on using AI as a frictionless sparring partner to explore for example, what if scenarios without traditional resource constraints or time constraints of a traditional analytical type project or problem solving kind of projects. For example, AI can simulate market outcomes using game theory in response to a competitor's action. AI can generate bespoke strategic frameworks by combining established models, such as blending lean startup principles with the resource-based view to create a custom R&D evaluation tool, for example. And in this case, the key value lies in the AI's ability to uncover strategic vulnerabilities and opportunities that traditional analysis might miss. So the fourth phase addresses the critical risk of automation bias, the tendency for an AI to come up with outputs that are unexpected, or for the analytical team to overtrust the AI's results. So to counter this methodology proposes a Turing test, as the name is given. So every AI-generated insight would have to pass 3 human-led checks. First of all, the feasibility test. Can it be executed? The ethics and risk test, and looking at are there unforeseen risks that may be missed by the AI analysis, and the so what test. So does this offer a real competitive advantage? Is this really something that's useful, a result that can be applied in a real world situation? So in this case, the approach recommends establishing a formal critique protocol using a red team, for example, or some external group of people, not external to the organization, but external to the project, who would be experts potentially in intentionally challenging AI-generated scenarios before they are presented to leadership. So this brings us to the AI team structure and what the implications of this approach would be to an organizational teaming structure either in, for example, a strategic office or strategy development, analysis of market analysis, or for example, external consulting team might use this as well. So what we see is that the organizational structure would be flattened and around the concept of a strike team. So this strike team would consist of potentially 3 specialized roles designed for rapid decision making and AI orchestration. So the strategy lead would hold the overall vision, managing the client relationship or the stakeholder relationship, and apply the judgment and intuition to the development of the questions or the starting point of the analysis. Then there's the prompt architect, which is a more technical AI expert who builds the modular prompt sequences and AI workflows. Then there's the data translator, who acts as a bridge, converting raw AI output into actionable business metrics and insights. So this is where the strong critical thinking and data literacy skills would come into play. So when we look into advanced prompting techniques for generating consulting grade outputs, we're essentially moving beyond simple queries to more sophisticated approaches. So there is few shot prompting, which is one approach, which involves providing the AI with 3 to 5 high quality examples to set the standard for tone and depth of the analysis. Then there is an approach, chain of verification, which is a process where the AI drafts a claim, identifying supporting facts and verifies them, and then rewrites the claim or the hypothesis. Then there is the role-playing agents, which involves setting up multiple AIs. So, for example, Optimist Chief Executive Officer or Skeptical CFO are examples of roles that can be input into the system to enable a debate on strategy from different perspectives, which then would provide a comprehensive or multifaceted analysis and with the intent of developing more robust outcomes in the end. So a key advantage of the AI augmented model is time rebalancing. In this case, reversing the traditional 20/80 model so that strategists spend 80% of the time on high value decision making and only 20% of their time on production. Success then shifts from having answers to knowing how to ask the right questions. So the fusion of human intuition and AI's computational power creates a super consultant capability, potentially. The future competitive advantage of the analytical professions will belong not to firms with the most data, but to those who have the most skilled prompt architects who ask the right questions and who can control and master this human-machine collaboration. So finally, there are some key assessment questions for organizations to evaluate their readiness to implement an AI augmented strategy. So it prompts reflection on several critical areas. So first, is the culture prompt first or still reliant on traditional search? Is this an area that can be developed? Is the proprietary data AI legible and accessible for retrieval augmented generation systems? So is the right data in place, and can that be converted into a digital format that is easily readable by LLMs? Another question is, does the team possess the domain-specific intuition to identify flawed AI outputs? I mean, there's a huge amount of business acumen that is necessary, and in some cases, understanding of the risks or the legal, even in some cases, regulatory potential for problems that could come as a result of poor AI-generated solutions or improper facts that may come about through AI hallucinations. So, and then are there formal human-in-the-loop validation gates? So, like the red team example, to critique the AI strategies. So, is there a proper challenging mechanism in place? People who are knowledgeable enough about the AI output and the business situation simultaneously, who can then make the right challenges and question the results toward the development of a more effective outcome. And then finally, another key question is, does the leadership have the risk appetite for the rapid iterative experimentation that this new process would require, changing the organization to be able to focus on rapid development of solutions with the help of AI using limited teams. This in many cases represents a fundamental shift from the way that analytical professions or consultants in this case tend to go about their business. So is the organization ready to make this change? And that's a key question going forward. So I think that all of these areas are areas that analysts engage in now in one form or another are at risk with the AI tools that are coming online, that are becoming stronger and more robust and more effective every day. I mean, literally every week it seems that there's a new AI tool or an upgrade that's being announced, and in many cases these announcements do deliver on their expectations. And while yes, we still hear of glitches in the AI systems and some teething issues that are still being worked around, the fact of the matter is these AI systems are becoming very effective at doing even the business analysis activities that is traditionally done by corporate strategy departments, external consultants and advisors, and these kinds of professions. So the real question then is not so much is this going to be used, or for that matter, how are consultants going to be using AI tools? Yes, they are, they will, and they must. The question is, how can they do that more effectively, most effectively, or more effectively compared to potential competitors? And how do strategy consultants themselves achieve their strategic differentiation through the use of AI? So I think that approaches like this, will be the basis for that, and there's certainly a lot of development to come along the way, and it's going to be very exciting to watch this channel and uh, see how consultants are going to use AI in the near future. So looking forward to that journey. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great day ahead.